This one is really interesting. So, reports are saying that Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has allegedly written a powerful letter to former US President Donald Trump. And this letter is already shaking a lot of political tables, both in Nigeria and internationally. From what's circulating, the letter centers around what Kanu described as ongoing persecution, killings and human rights violations happening in parts of Nigeria. And he made 4 strong requests to Trump that have started getting global attention. Now, before we dive deep into these, please, if you're just joining us, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any major national updates like this. So let's break down what's going on. According to the information being shared, Kanu's letter reportedly highlights what he calls a systematic campaign against certain groups in Nigeria, especially the people of the Southeast. He described the situation as a slow but dangerous form of ethnic cleansing and said the world cannot continue to look away. The part that caught a lot of people's attention was when he allegedly called it a genocide in disguise and saying international powers, especially the United States, must not keep quiet anymore. Now, in the letter, Nnamdi Kanu didn't just complain. He made 4 specific requests to Donald Trump. The first was for the US government to officially investigate what he termed as ongoing human rights violations in Nigeria. He believes this will put international pressure on the Nigerian government to act responsibly. The second request, according to reports, was a call for the United States to stop military assistance or weapons supply to Nigeria until there's proof that such resources are not being used to suppress citizens. His third request was said to be about economic sanctions or restrictions against certain political figures he claimed are directly or indirectly involved in acts of oppression against minorities. And then, the fourth request, and this is the one that's trending the most, he allegedly asked Trump to support a referendum for the people of the Southeast to decide their own political future peacefully under international observation. Now, this is a big deal because if this letter truly got to Trump and the US government decides to act, it could shift the political tone in Nigeria completely. It could even cause serious diplomatic reactions from Abuja to Washington. Remember, Nigeria and the US have strong security and economic ties, so anything that looks like an interference might cause a wave of response from both sides. But beyond politics, let's be honest, this whole situation raises some deep questions. Why would Kanu choose this moment to send such a letter? Is it a strategic move now that global eyes are on issues of security and governance in Africa? Or is it simply another way to put pressure on the current Nigerian leadership to take accountability? You know, sometimes these kinds of international letters serve 2 purposes. 1, to get foreign attention, and 2, to remind people back home that the world is watching. If you look at it that way, this could be part of a broader move to make sure the issue of security and marginalization doesn't just fade away in local politics. And honestly, Nigerians are divided about this. Some people believe Kanu is simply doing what he thinks is right, trying to use international voices to help his people. Others say it's unnecessary because it could make Nigeria look weak or divided before foreign powers. Whichever side you belong to, you can't deny that the conversation this letter has sparked is massive. Guys, what do you think about this? Do you think writing to Trump is the right move? Or do you believe that these issues should be handled internally without dragging foreign powers into it? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. I'd love to read your opinion on this one. And please don't forget, if you're still watching this video right now, kindly like this video, subscribe and share it so more Nigerians can join the conversation. Now, another part that's worth mentioning is the reaction coming from some quarters. Sources suggest that some pro-government voices are already criticizing the tone of the letter, saying it paints the country in a bad light. But others are saying, if there's nothing to hide, then why fear international attention? That's the question many are asking right now. If we think about it, this is not the first time international figures are being called to intervene in Nigeria's internal issues. We've seen similar appeals before. from activists, religious leaders, and civil society groups. But what makes this one different is the timing and the name involved: Donald Trump. Remember, Trump's global influence even after his presidency is still strong, especially among conservative groups who take a keen interest in African affairs. So if Trump decides to respond or even comment on this matter, the whole world could start paying more attention to Nigeria's internal situation again. And that's where the real story lies. Because international attention can be both a blessing and a burden. It can lead to reforms, or it can attract unnecessary political heat. All right, guys, before I wrap up this part, let me remind you once again to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon, because we'll be following this story very closely as it unfolds. So let's dig deeper into this whole matter, because the aftermath of this so-called Trump letter from Nnamdi Kanu might go beyond what many people are imagining right now. If truly this letter has reached the hands of Trump or key figures in the US political circle, it might begin to shape new conversations about Nigeria's internal security and governance, especially regarding how the government handles insurgency, human rights, and the growing tension in the Southeast. Now, here's the thing. The United States, as we all know, plays a massive role in global human rights monitoring. And even though they sometimes avoid direct interference in African domestic issues, once something like genocide or ethnic cleansing is mentioned, it becomes almost impossible for them to ignore it completely. That's why this letter is causing such an uproar on social media. Some international observers have even started sharing parts of the message, calling on the international community to verify these claims. And that's the part that really has Abuja on edge, because whether or not the claims are true is already out there. Once such allegations reach the global stage, people begin to scrutinize everything: the military operations, the arrests, the political speeches, even the humanitarian situation in the north and south. And that's not good for a country like Nigeria, which is already struggling to attract foreign investment and maintain its international image. But here's another angle people are not really talking about. If the US or any other Western power decides to pick interest in this matter, it could mean more external pressure on Tinubu's administration to make visible changes in how it handles national security, especially in sensitive regions. That might include reviewing military operations, addressing complaints from local communities, and ensuring transparency in how citizens are treated. Now, the question is, will this letter actually achieve what Nnamdi Kanu wants? Or will it just spark diplomatic noise that eventually fades away like so many others before it? Let's be realistic. International politics is tricky. Countries act based on interest, not emotion. If the US sees a clear strategic or humanitarian benefit in stepping in, then they might make some statements or take symbolic action. But if they think it will cause tension in their relationship with Nigeria, they might choose to stay quiet officially while monitoring the situation from the sidelines. Either way, this letter has already done its job. It's got the world talking again about the Nigerian crisis, the state of governance, and the silence around killings in different regions. And if there's one thing that both supporters and critics of Nnamdi Kanu can agree on, is that he knows how to pull attention at the right time. You see, while this drama is unfolding, the Nigerian government is still battling multiple security fronts: insurgency in the northeast, banditry in the northwest, and communal clashes in the middle belt. So, this kind of international spotlight only adds more pressure to deliver results quickly. Now, let's connect this to the bigger picture. Remember, just recently, there were also global calls for the Nigerian government to review how it handles freedom of expression and political activism. So, this letter fits perfectly into that narrative. If global powers begin to connect those dots, security, human rights, freedom of speech, it could trigger fresh discussions about Nigeria's democracy and its global perception. But again, while this news is spreading, we have to be careful about misinformation. Some versions of this letter online are still unverified. Some claim it's a leaked draft. Others say it was officially submitted. So until there's a public confirmation, we can only discuss the implications and the conversations it's already generating. That's why, my people, it's important to stay informed, not misinformed. Don't just read one version of the story and jump to conclusions. Always cross-check your facts. And please, before we continue, kindly like this video, subscribe and share it with your friends. Let more Nigerians hear about this and drop their thoughts too. Now, from a neutral angle, let's ask this question. Could it be that Nnamdi Kanu's strategy is actually working? Because for the first time in a while, his name is trending internationally again, not because of court cases, but because of what looks like a diplomatic move. If that's the case, then he has managed to shift the narrative from being seen as just a local agitator to someone trying to use international diplomacy to push his agenda. But at the same time, this also puts the Nigerian government in a tight spot. If they respond harshly, it could look like they're trying to silence a legitimate complaint. But if they stay quiet, it may be seen as guilt or indifference. So whichever way, the Nigerian government will need to be very careful about how it responds to this letter, both publicly and behind closed doors. All right, I'll stop here for now. But before I wrap up, if you've been watching up to this point, thank you so much. Please don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and drop your comment down below. If we look closely, this move seems like an attempt to bring global attention back to Nigeria's internal challenges, insecurity, alleged marginalization, and human rights issues, by appealing to one of the most influential figures in global politics. And whether or not Trump acts on it, the fact that this letter is trending already makes it a political statement that can't be ignored. You see, sometimes politics isn't about immediate action. It's about controlling the narrative. And right now, that's what Kanu seems to be doing. Has shifted conversations from being about his detention to being about Nigeria's leadership, governance, and the global response to human rights issues. Now, the Nigerian government, on the other hand, is in a delicate position. If they respond too strongly, it could make Kanu's claims look valid to outsiders. But if they remain silent, it might seem like they're ignoring serious allegations. So, this situation requires careful diplomacy, both in words and in actions. For ordinary Nigerians, this is another reminder that our voice matters. The world is watching. And in a time where security issues, economic struggles, and ethnic tension are at their peak, leaders need to handle communication wisely to avoid giving room for more international controversy. At the end of the day, what matters most is peace, justice, and unity. Every nation has its challenges, but what defines a great nation is how it responds to them, not with fear or aggression, but with honesty, fairness, and responsibility. So, my people, as we follow this story, let's stay informed and avoid spreading false information. Things are still unfolding, and we'll bring you verified updates as they come. If you've watched up to this point, I truly appreciate you. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update when we dive deeper into what these 4 requests from Nnamdi Kanu to Trump actually mean for Nigeria's political and diplomatic future. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Do you think Trump will respond to the letter, or do you think it's all just a political stunt? Let's talk down below. Once again, thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay smart, and stay informed.